Okay, so the Libertarian Party of Texas, an organization I have intimate experience with several years ago. As you may know, I ran a campaign for not governor of Texas. I started out on a platform of riding in on a white horse in shining armor to dissolve the state government of Texas. And then very quickly, I think less than a month in, I realized that was not a very, while that was a maximal freedom position, it was not a very principled one. And after talking with Larkin, we changed the campaign to be one that just basically brought forward the Declaration of Individual Independence and spent our time talking about people's sovereignty and self-ownership and how voting is not the way to achieve freedom, and political activism is not the way to achieve freedom, and that the only thing that a libertarian would do in the political arena would be to get behind the largest podium they can to tell people those things. And so that's what I spent the rest of the campaign doing. And I mean, I want to say at the leadership level and at the insider level, the party is absolutely no better than the R's or the D's. It is just a messy, disgusting quagmire of political gamesmanship and clout chasing and one-upping and gotcha attempts to catch you out on something you said that they can use against you. Like, it is no different, which I think is kind of to be expected when you get normies and semi-libertarians involved in politics. You know, you give them a banner with principles written on it to hoist as they enter the battle, but they're not terribly familiar with their own principles and what that means and how to apply them. And anyway, so it's quite a dumpster fire, and it might even be worse than the R or the D's, and that's kind of an edgy statement, but I can back it up. Because they hoist that banner of principle into the battle, they attract well-meaning activists that want to do good and change the world for the better, towards liberty, in the name of the principles that we stand for of liberty. And they suck those people in, and then they just shit away their time. They squander one of the most precious resources in the world, is an activist's time. Time that they are willing to invest in changing the world. And so when you hand an activist a task and you tell them, this is how you do it, this is how we help, just help me, invest your time in our organization, which using invest like that I think should be a red flag, but because it's not an investment. What they're actually saying is, sink your time into our organization, and together we will play the political game and achieve more freedom. When in reality, all they do, almost the sum total of what they do, is take those activist hours, those precious little bits of people's lives that they're willing to donate, and they teach them Robert's rules, and they sit in small auditoriums for an entire weekend arguing back and forth about motions and resolutions and planks, and it is one of the most disgusting things that I've seen libertarians do. Like, I expect that stuff from Republicans and Democrats because that's what they were trained since birth to do if they want to make the government into the thing that they want the government to be. But as libertarians, who I just have a higher expectation for libertarians. I just do. They should be more acquainted with what liberty means and how to achieve it and how not to achieve it and what it is and what it isn't and what government actually is. And the priorities are just way out of alignment. Anyway, I guess enough ranting about them. Anyway, So, what brought that up? There's a couple things. But number one is they recently, well, it should be stated, first of all, that back when I was in the middle of my campaign, actually I think we were several weeks before the vote to determine if I was going to be the candidate for governor for the Libertarian, on the ticket, on the ballot, next to the Libertarian name. And they banned me from their Facebook group. Which, I mean, I don't think it's a narcissistic exaggeration to say that I think I was too libertarian for the Libertarian Party in Texas. I was just too annoying with reflecting people's stated principles, you know, when they hoist that banner of principle. And I just stand there and reflect it back at them and show them the ways in which they are not representing those principles. A fair number of people did not like me very much. Anyway, so they banned me from the Facebook group, which significantly impacted my ability to compete in this election that was coming up, which I'm pretty sure if I wanted to use the government magic spells around election manipulation and fraud against them, I'm pretty sure that could have been a lawsuit. Luckily, I care more about libertarian principles than the leadership of the party does. And I would never do that. I would never point the government's legal guns at them to force my access into their Facebook group. Catch up on comments. Sorry, guys. Robert's Rules of Order is literally the worst thing to ever come into existence. It's suicide fuel. So you've been to a meeting, I see. Oh, man. Where was I going? Okay, so they banned me back in the middle of my campaign, which is just an egregious manipulation of the election. You know, they definitely took sides, and I expected nothing less. And oftentimes, all I would do throughout the process is, I never fought back. I never tried to play their game. That's not what I was there for. I was there. I was involved to speak about the principles of liberty to as many people as I could. And what I thought I was signing up for was a chance to get on the statewide ticket so that I could speak the principles of liberty to the entire state in debates against the other gubernatorial candidates. That's what I thought I was attempting to do, and that's what I was hoping to get the Libertarian Party member endorsements for. What I actually ended up discovering was that it was like thinking I needed to fly to Kenya to proselytize for my religion, and realizing that when I arrived at the DFW airport to get on my plane to go to Kenya, I realized that, oh my God, there's a bunch of heathens here in the airport that need my attention. So, well, I guess more on that later. But yeah, it was just standing amongst them and saying, hey guys, this is the libertarian position. We shouldn't be here to play those political games. You can play them if you want. Oh, the power just went off again. Notice that we didn't notice that the power went off again, except for the alarms going off in the background. Our fire alarms don't like it when the power goes off. What was I saying? Anyway, yeah, so I just found that there were a lot of people that needed to hear the principles of liberty, to hear what they were inside the party. And anyway, so they banned me, and then they banned recently, this is what made me talk about this. They banned Kaysen, my producer, partner in Disenthrall. They banned him from the Libertarian Party Facebook group as well. And you guys know Kaysen. Like, I get edgy. I give less fucks than most. Kaysen is a really professional, mostly polite guy that I couldn't even imagine what he could have possibly said to get them to ban him. Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what he did. I wish I could show you Can I show you this screenshot? No, I haven't cropped it. I don't want to. Anyway, so that's a guy named Luke, which was talking like he was part of the current leadership of the party, posted a poll on Facebook. And this is what the message, this is what the text of the poll said. I'm not going to show it to you on screen, but I'll read it to you. Quote, "This poll is for all the people out there who don't currently donate to the Libertarian Party of Texas. We would love your feedback on why you haven't donated or are no longer a donor. This is a judgment-free zone, and we want to better understand how we can make it easier for you to become a donor in the future." So what did Kaysen respond to this judgment-free poll with that was so egregious, so harmful to their group's decorum, that they literally shut him out and cut him off from communication with the other Texas libertarians? He said, quote, the reason why he does not donate to the Libertarian Party of Texas is, quote, "Some libertarians do not uphold the principles of libertarianism," end quote. Banned. Banned in a judgment-free poll, just to illustrate the fraudsters that we have running. This is what you deal with when you get involved with politics. Would not recommend, unless you're doing it as an activist, trying to do nothing more than talk to people about liberty. Some libertarians do not uphold the principles of libertarianism. That is why he doesn't want to donate to the Libertarian Party of Texas. The same reason I do not want to donate to the Libertarian Party of Texas, because I see that money getting used in ways that furthers statist, non-libertarian goals. And it helps candidates that have many unlibertarian positions run their campaigns. I will not put my money behind that. I won't. And even when I ran my campaign, I barely ever asked people to donate because, man, I treat activist time and resources just like gold. I know how precious it is from doing things like the Feed the Need type events. Like, I know, especially in these times, how difficult it is to donate to things. And, man, of all the things I'd want people donating towards, it is not politics. It is a joke. It is an absolute joke. Which is why, I was on the fence whether or not to continue to attempt the political activism. And I think I can announce right now that there will be another not governor campaign in Texas for the 2022 race. I think I can make that announcement right now for you guys here. This time the campaign will have even better, even more finely tuned expectations from the beginning. Last time my end goal was to get on a wider stage to talk to a wider audience about liberty. And if that happens, great. This time my goal is actually just to exist again in the Libertarian Party space amongst people that are interested in liberty, to talk about the principles of liberty, to preach to the choir, because the choir actually needs it in this case, to be a measuring stick, to stand next to other candidates, and just exist, to be as principled as I can, to show people what it should look like. That's what it is. I want to show people what an actual libertarian candidate would look like. And that is to say, to blatantly look people in the eye from behind the podium and the microphone of these candidacies and say, don't vote for me to achieve freedom. That's not how you do it. If you vote for me, do it as an activist just to get me behind a larger podium with a bigger microphone and more eyes and ears listening to me. That's it. That's it. Voting is not how you achieve freedom. This process is not how you achieve freedom. This process is the biggest, most disgusting, perverted waste of time that you could possibly participate in. Don't do it unless you're just trying to help me get behind a larger microphone. You know, they love to hear that. So, yeah, we'll call that the announcement. I have the state of Texas requires that you have a campaign treasurer, and there's regulations and stuff that I have to not violate for fear of prison and huge fines. So I've got a campaign treasurer has already sort of been acquired for the campaign, and hopefully we'll have a campaign manager soon to announce. But it's gonna be bare metal, bare bones. Not looking for donations. I'm here to just talk about liberty to as many people as I can, which is what libertarians should be doing if they're going to be involved in this nut stuff. They just ostracized one of the most principled libertarians I know. They banned him from their group. If Kaysen does not belong in their Facebook group, then no libertarian should be there. It's a filthy place, not fit for any of us. If Kaysen, who in many ways in my mind is a paragon of libertarian principle, they squander thousands of hours of activist time, thousands of dollars in donations on inane, ineffectual political ballet dances that accomplish precisely nothing for liberty, while simultaneously shaming anybody who complains about their wastes of time. The Libertarian Party of Texas and its leadership are the quintessential argument against political activism towards liberty. Can't really say it much stronger than that. The way they currently exist, they are the quintessential argument. They are the argument against why people should involve themselves in politics to get towards liberty. They are the activism honeypot that takes the people that want to improve the world out of play for the government, and in so doing, make themselves a net negative for liberty. If your political goals lead you to a place where a man like Kaysen doesn't belong amongst you, then you have left your principles second or third place to your politics, which should be a mortal sin for a libertarian. That's like the worst thing a libertarian could do. I think the last thing I'll say, and then we'll move on, because this politics stuff doesn't even deserve any more of our time talking about it right now. I suspect that this phenomenon, this political gamesmanship and this just backstabbing and this fuckery is not just a Texas thing. I'm pretty sure I've heard stories about this stuff all over the country, and definitely at the national level. So I'm not like purposefully kicking LP Texas's ass. I'm pretty sure all of these political party pragmatic garbage dumps deserve this same lecture. So it'll be interesting if we think about president in a few extra years after that. But anyway, so when I ran my campaign, they literally there was these couple people that tried to stick a label. They tried to nickname me. Their nickname was the Destroyer, because I had come to destroy their party. And so I think we had a group of people, we called ourselves the basket of destroyers or something like that. It was hilarious. but they called me a destroyer, and and in some ways I did destroy parts of their party by just I laid waste to their every attempt at getting away with party over principles, just wastes of activists' time. I just called it out immediately, loudly. And then all I had to do is just stand there and be like, hey guys, this is the libertarian principle. You probably shouldn't be doing that. That's probably a waste of time. That's probably an unlibertarian message to be sending to the public. Stop. Okay. Anyway, that's enough of that. No, it's not. Even the Mises caucus is not an exception. Is not an exception. If you go look back on this channel and you like search my videos for Mises caucus application or something like that, it was several years ago when I was in the middle of my campaign, and the only caucus I cared about in the Libertarian Party was the Mises caucus, because they were, again, so the Libertarian Party charges into battle hoisting the flag of principle. Well, the Mises caucus was supposedly the group inside the Libertarian Party that actually did that. And so I asked for their endorsement, and they gave me a list of sizable list of questions that they wanted me to answer in there to help them consider, to determine if they wanted to give me their endorsement. And I made the video. You can go back and search my channel for it, where I answered all of their questions. Stuff about human action, principle, activism, things like that. And I've seen some of the candidates they have endorsed, and I can pretty much guarantee that application, I did it in video form because I thought the questions were good and the answers to the questions were probably worthwhile for other people to hear, rather than just send it to them privately. So I made it a video and I published it. But that was my application, was the video. And I'm pretty sure that it's not a controversial stretch to say that was probably one of the best applications that they've ever received by any candidate, with some of the best answers to their questions that they had ever received. I can't say I'm the number one. Who knows? They might have had some awesome stuff. But, if you watch the video, I think you'll understand. They didn't give me their endorsement. And I can't go into specifics, but I know that there were people working behind the scenes playing political games inside their caucus that prevented that from happening. So this caucus that is touted by Dave Smith and all these other people to be the change in the Libertarian Party, to take it over with people that care about principles over politics. Sorry. I tried that.